Welcome to ASEAN BIZ, your only choice for business updates covering ASEAN countries. I'm Andrew Chia.
And I'm Eric Chong.
And we bring you business news on everything that happens around the world that involves ASEAN countries.
With us in the studio today is only Andrew and myself today.
Me, myself, and my partner.
Okay, right.
Okay.
So,
Our durian main story today is
the richest in Thailand and Vietnam. But before that, let's take a look at our current business updates on the topic of the Panama Papers.
Yeah, Eric, this is a very hot topic right now, the Panama Papers.
I think
At first, I thought, what kind of paper is that? Is it some kind of newspaper or what, So it didn't actually capture my attention until everybody says, "Oh, big leak."
I thought that's referring to the Panama canals.
The word Panama is not really threatening, right?
Yes, because all this while it have been very on a subtle side.
Until we hear
news comes from the southern part of America.
Right. Names like Putin, Xi Jinping, all these people involved. And back in our own country, our Prime Minister's son is also involved in one of the lists that is leaked there. Then only I started to pay attention. Hey, what is this thing all about? It looks quite serious.
Yes, and suddenly this past few days, the Panama Papers, or rather the country Panama, has been on the limelight.
Yeah, so what is Panama all about? It's actually a tax haven used to hide offshore accounts.
No wonder the country has been so quiet all this while.
Yeah, but Eric, all the while I've heard of places like Cayman Islands, British Virgin Islands, and things like that.
Islands that have.
I've not heard of Panama. Now it seems like it's more famous than the other islands right now.
So I would believe that maybe there are more countries that is a tax havens for these
there
politicians.
are places like Seychelles, Marshall Islands, and even Hong Kong and maybe Singapore that have offshore accounts.
Yeah. So beside Panama, there are also a few others well-known offshore tax havens, such as
British Virgin Islands.
The Cayman Islands.
Yes, that's our 1MDB. That's where they put the money, right?
It's supposed to be a very safe country.
Yes, and money is supposed to be repatriated back to Malaysia, but I think it's still stuck there, right?
And Sanchez, Marshall
Seychelles,
Islands, etc. So you look at the statistic of this list. It's mostly all those Polynesians.
Islands, and somewhere in England.
Island nations. So I was wondering, is the island really safe, or is it? During the olden days, the pirates' days, where they actually have treasure islands.
Hey, Eric, you watch too much Pirates of the Caribbean, right?
So I believe that this is the modern days treasure island.
When you have money to hide, your island seems to be quite safe. And companies incorporated in these tax havens do not need to pay taxes in their jurisdiction.
Which means to say that they don't need to pay any taxes to the country.
Tax haven.
Where they put the money, and it's totally safe without anybody knowing it.
Yeah, and these companies incorporated are usually called the International Business Companies, or IBCs.
So which means to say that they are actually treating these depositors as their foreign companies.
Right, and they are not supposed to do business in that place itself.
Right. Politicians, country leaders, criminals, drug dealers, mafia members, celebrities, tycoons, etc. keep their monies in these offshore accounts to avoid detections.
Yes, they used to put their money in Swiss banks, right? Those days, for a very long time, Swiss bank accounts.
To the pirates' day, where all the pirates they loot all the ships and the towns, then they push all their loot into the treasure island.
Yes, and you read stories like Tom Sawyer when we were small, right? And people keep gold coins and
especially
jewels.
the most famous novel, Treasure Island.
Yes, they keep all there and hide in some kind of island, right?
So these are all the modern days treasure islands.
Those days we have a treasure map where you go treasure hunting, right? Even today they have treasure hunting, and lately because of Panama, they have actually hunted down all this treasure in the island called Panama.
But I don't think Panama is an island.
I think it's an island, Eric. My geography is not really that good.
Well, so in the past, they used to put money in the Swiss bank accounts. But of late, the Swiss bank account do not seem that safe too.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people have already known that the Swiss is used to practice their secrecy act.
Yes, and not supposed to disclose to anyone or anybody, you know.
But recently, I think they have lost that kind of confidence. The so-called general tycoons already lost the confidence.
Yeah, maybe because the governments asked them to disclose people who have cheated the citizens of all their money and hidden them in the Swiss accounts. So they have complied with the government's request.
So it makes the Swiss looks like very major conspirators to all the.
So now people are afraid of putting their money in Swiss bank accounts also. Okay, so where else do they hide it?
All the treasure islands.
All these islands, and it seems that there's one group of people who are treasure hunting and found all this treasure in the islands.
But it cannot be dig out. You can just dig out the papers only.
Yes, it seems that there's a leak, a big leak of all these people who have money in these Panama accounts. And Eric, name some of the people who are involved right now.
Well, at this moment,
very high profile people.
Very high profile people. Among those high profile people that involved in the Panama papers are the China Premier, Xi Jinping.
Yeah, and the Russian Premier.
President.
Hey, how about the US, man?
Okay, maybe US, they have their own heavens or treasure island.
They have Delaware.
They have Bermuda Triangle.
Right, yes.
And one of the name crops up is our very familiar Najib's son.
Yeah, our Prime Minister's son is involved.
Lionel Messi and many thousands of others tycoons in the list.
Tycoons, criminals, drug dealers and all that, you know. And Lionel Messi have made a very strong denial. He says, I don't have any account there. Anyone who says I have Panama account, I'll sue him. So let's wait and see. I'm sure Xi Jinping and Putin will say the same thing.
So in view of this, I would say those tycoons who park their money there are mostly going for tax evasions.
And I think it's not so much a taxes. They do not want people to know that they have
so
that
much money.
Because obviously that money is corruption money, right?
Can be said so. If you look at the sportsmen, some are so-called match fixers money.
Sportsmen maybe is their earnings. Like Lionel Messi, he could have earned millions and millions of dollars. You know, he want to hide it somewhere. That is legitimately earned, Eric, I believe. But if you talk about politicians, if they have millions and billions of dollars, it's quite obvious that it's corruption money, right?
Yes. And no politicians can actually make billions of money in the case.
Right, yeah. And over here, we have a politician's son last time who was a billionaire at a young age of about 20, right? 20 plus, already
20 plus,
billionaire.
Already billionaire. And that was almost like, 20 years ago? So in view of 20 years ago, you can make 1 billion. That is a tremendous. And at the age of 27.
So it seems that this scandal, it took a lot of journalists, probably 1,000 journalists together, almost a year to slowly investigate all these accounts, and they have recently come out with this report called the Panama Papers.
Yeah, and most of the ASEAN country leaders may be among those exposed. And this may cause political upheaval, like Iceland right now, where they are calling for the Prime Minister to resign. Huge protest there.
So we don't know how many ASEAN leaders or people, rich men, are involved in the leak.
Yes, and recently we heard about news that Iceland slowly coming out of the raids, and now they are back into the
another big scandal.
Another big scandals. Well, I believe that whatever is it, whoever in the realm of controlling the country economies will have to bound to corrupt to a certain level.
Especially if you talk about Asian countries, right?
It's part and parcel of the culture. Okay,
depends how big the amount.
How big the amount? If a small amount acceptable, big amount is not acceptable.
Okay, Eric, how small is small?
Well, as the Chinese saying goes, right? If a politician's greed for 1 cent, they're not even won a penny.
Okay, Eric, we'll be back shortly with more interesting updates on ASEAN. Stay tuned, guys. Welcome back, folks. Before we bring on our main story for this edition, Eric is going to share with us his funny business moment, and the title of his story today is Stupid Passengers.
The policeman stops the driver and says, "You want $500 for wearing a safety belt. What will you do with the money?" "I don't know. Probably pass the exam for a driving test," replied the driver. Then the wife said, "Do not listen. He always talk like that when he is drunk." Then the passenger from the back wakes up. "I told you that we won't go far away with the stolen car." Then they heard the voice from the trunk. "Have we crossed the border yet?"
Obviously, these guys are sleeping and they don't know the policeman is there. Okay,
so this is a case of stupid passengers, stupid drivers, in referring to the Panama Papers.
Okay, thank you, Eric, for that funny business moment. Welcome back to the show, guys. You're listening to ASEAN BIZ, your only choice for business updates covering ASEAN countries. I'm your host, Chia, and together with me is Eric Chong, and we bring you business news on everything that happens around the world which involves ASEAN countries.
The title of our Durian main story today is The Richest in Thailand and Vietnam, which is a series we have been talking.
Yes,
for
we
the
have
past
covered all the other
episodes.
countries in ASEAN except the last two countries in Thailand and Vietnam.
Which today we are covering.
Yes, let's start with Thailand, Eric.
Okay.
Who's the richest man in Thailand?
The richest man at this moment in Thailand is Danin Sharawanot.
Yeah, a mouthful, right?
If I get the pronunciation correct.
Yeah,
It's a
Danin
mouthful.
Sharavanon. That's as best as we can
As
do.
best as I can pronounce. So his age is 77. He's
Almost
born
80
in
years old.
1939. Well, almost 80 years old, and he's still very strong.
Yeah.
So he actually born in Thai and breed in Thai. So that makes him a pure breed of Thai.
Yeah, his father probably is from China.
Probably. So I think he carried the surname as Chia. Same with Andrew.
How I wish I am
Okay,
1%
go and
as
trace
rich.
back your roots. And his total net worth at this moment is 14 billion US
Yeah,
dollars.
that makes him the richest man in Southeast Asia. I think overtaking Robert Koch by a little bit.
By a little bit, that's a possibility.
Yes, very rich man.
And currently, he still have occupations. Right?
You mean he has a job? He's employed?
He's employed.
Yes, he's a
currently
chairman
the
and CEO.
And CEO of the CP Group.
CP is a Charon Pokpan Group. And is the largest shareholder in Ping An Insurance, a Chinese life insurance company with 461 billion US dollars in assets.
True. And I believe that his group actually is a very well diverse group. Okay.
Right.
The CP Group is the second largest shareholder in Itochu, Japan. Itochu is involved in domestic trading, import-exports, and overseas trading of various products such as textile machineries, metals, minerals, energy, chemicals,
Wow.
food, information, and communications technology. Wow, that's a lot, man.
Covers everything.
Yes. Realty, general products, insurance, logistics services, construction, and finance, as well as business investment in Japan and overseas.
Wow,
So I
that's
believe
about
that
covers all.
His group is actually running the whole country.
It's a conglomerate.
Diverse traits in his arm, under his arm.
And it's surprising it's a Japanese company, and CP is the second largest shareholder in a Japanese company.
Wow. So, well, Japanese. Okay.
Let's go for a little bit of history. Mr. Danin's father, Mr. Chia Ek Cho, and his uncle Chia Xiao Hui left China for Bangkok in the 1920s. That was about the Great Depression time, right?
Time.
And they began selling seeds and agricultural chemicals. Their business diversified geographically across the whole of Asia. That's how they started. The father started the business together with his uncle.
So you see, most of the tycoons started off as agriculture base.
Those days, they don't have industry, right?
And I believe that most countries started off as agricultural base, and later on they developed into industrials, and now towards the IT technology is a different thing.
Yeah, but today we are beginning to realize that agriculture is very important.
And it still runs the core business of a country economics. Right?
Yeah,
And
especially
but now
you need
people
food.
are cultivating the cyberspace. That's a different agriculture altogether.
So in the 1980s, as China opened up to foreign firms, the CP Charon Pokpan Group became the preferred partner for international brands such as Honda, Walmart, and Tesco. Wow.
Wow. So which means to say that they are the first preference with the China origin. So probably during their days, their parents, or rather their uncle, their father, actually contribute back to China.
Yeah, so these big brands like Honda, they make a lot of money, right?
Then the CP Group is one of Asia's largest conglomerates and operates in agricultural, telecommunications, marketing, distributions and logistics, international tradings, petrochemicals, properties and land development, crop integrations, insurance, automotive, and even pet foods.
That about covers everything.
You can't really beat that kind of so diverse.
No wonder he became the richest man in Thailand as well as the whole of ASEAN. Because he's doing so many businesses.
So which means to say whether you eat, sleep, or whatever, you are in a way related to CP Group, or you are contributing factors to the CP Group growth. Okay, we'll take a short break and be back with our story shortly. Stay tuned, guys.
Welcome back. You're listening to ASEAN Biz, and our Durian main story today is the richest in Thailand and Vietnam. But before we continue with the concluding part of our story today, Eric will give us a quick health tip. Now, Eric is our health and fitness coach, and he runs the 100-kilometer marathon himself. His health tip story for today is fitness tips for beginners.
Thanks, Andrew.
You're talking about me again.
Yes, I always would like to emphasize the beginners, because that's where the beginners needs the most informations, motivations, as well as knowledge in not to hurt themselves, right? And success in fitness hinges on education, as I said. Without at least some knowledge about the nutrition, training, motivations, and supplementations, your New Year's resolution for better health in 2016 may be in the serious danger. Andrew, you may anything or not? Okay,
it's very dangerous.
First thing first, the internet is full of videos, articles, and blogs for your fitness edifications. Why not use them to your advantage? Right. Firstly, nutrition. Eat 4 to 6 meals per day to avoid craving. Keep blood sugar level checked and keep hunger at bay. If you want to gain weight, it takes more calories. If you want to lose weight, you need to consume fewer calories. This may be old school advice, but it works. Right. Then cardio exercise. Cardio is important for keeping body fat level in check, increasing endurance, and decreasing your risk of cardiovascular disease. Strength training. Even if your goal is fat loss, building muscles can help speed up your metabolisms and burn many more calories even when you are at rest. If muscle gain is the goal, then spending time with the iron is a no-brainer. Supplementations. It's nearly impossible to get all of your necessary nutrients from food alone. Supplements can help fill the gaps in your nutrition and may help you perform better in the gym. So basically, if you're looking at fitness, it's just 4 categories you need to look into, but once you go into the subcategories of these 4 main categories, is a mouthful.
Thanks, Eric, for that useful health tip. Let's continue with our Durian main story today, that is the richest in Thailand and Vietnam. We have covered Thailand, and finally we come to the last country in ASEAN. Last in the sense that it is the last alphabet.
Last alphabet, okay. Not in last in anything. Because we always like to put things in alphabetical order.
Yeah, too bad for Vietnam. It's the last alphabet. Right. So who is the richest man in Vietnam right now?
This guy name is Pat Nan Wong.
Pham Nhat Vong. Yeah. Young man, a very, very young man compared to the other richest men in other countries.
He's born in 1968, so
and that makes him only about
48 years old.
48 years old. Very young man.
Very young man.
Hey, Eric, can we become a billionaire by 48 years old?
I think if we found our name in the Panama Papers, let's scrutinize the papers whether our name is in there or not.
You mean hide $1 billion in there? Okay, officially you are broke, but you have $1 billion in Panama Islands.
In Panama.
Not too bad.
Not too bad. He's born in Hanoi, and he's a pure breed of Vietnamese, right?
Yes.
And his total net worth is 1.1 billion.
I believe he's the only billionaire in Vietnam right now.
Possible.
The other guys have
Vietnam
not.
is a developing countries.
I,
just came out
I'm
of
sure
the
very
war.
soon, over the next few years, there'll be a lot of billionaires in Vietnam because the economy is really growing fast, right?
And we can see that the Vietnamese are really hardworking and working diligently to build the economy.
Yeah. So, what is his occupation? I mean, what's his job? Does he get paid?
He's still a chairman and CEO of the Win Group.
Win Group sounds like winning every time,
Winning
right?
every time. Okay, so it still start with V. It's not W. So in 1993, he developed Technocom, a market leader in culinary dehydrated products in Ukraine,
Wow.
which is sold to Nestle for 150 million in 2009.
Very clever boy. He even has a company in Ukraine and managed to sell it to Nestle. Not too bad,
Very
right?
smart.
But
But looking at his name, is Technocom, but we didn't know that it's a food product.
probably a lot of technology involved, right?
Yeah, to dehydrate food is not that easy, and to maintain that nutrients inside the food as well is not that easy.
And to sell it to Nestle is also not easy,
Not
right?
easy. You know, Nestle being a giant is very picky
they can
about
develop
their,
their own products.
So Wong's first project in Vietnam were Win Pearl Resort in
Nha Trang.
Nha Trang. Okay, it's opened in 2003, and Vincom City Towers, later named Vincom
Ba
Trieu
Trieu.
in central Hanoi, opened in 2004.
Looks like he's into properties a lot. First, he has a resort and he has a city tower.
So very soon he will be buying most of Hanoi. And Vietnam.
Yes. Right now, his city tower is in the central of Hanoi. And it was opened about 10, 12 years ago.
went public in 2007. It merged with Win Pearl, Wong's luxury resort business in 2007.
Luxury resort business. Rings a bell, right?
Yes.
Do we have a luxury resort business in Malaysia?
Well, I think we have plenty.
I think the famous one is Genting, right?
Genting,
Luxury resort. I'm not sure they have a casino in Vietnam.
I believe there is.
Hmm.
So probably the luxury resorts have the casino as well.
Yeah, that makes a lot of money. So anyway,
so which means to say is that his group is actually growing, and probably in 10 years down the line, his wealth will double 10 times.
yes, we better watch out for this young man, Pham Nhat Vong. He's only 48 years old and bright future ahead of him.
But anyway, we will keep track of his progress. Should there be any latest progress, we will keep our listeners.
Yeah, every
updated.
time he makes another billion, we'll update.
We will give you updates. So it's a play-by-play thing on his business activities.
Great. All right, folks. That's all the time we have for today. We hope you've enjoyed our show. And we'll be back with a brand new story for our Durian main story on ASEAN Biz in the next edition. Thank you and goodbye.